I just picked up this crazy football lot off of Facebook Marketplace. Let's go through it and let's talk all about it. How's it going, everybody? Cards with Sean here, back with another YouTube video for you guys. Make sure you leave a like on the video, comment something down below what you think of this purchase. If you would have made the same purchase, what you would have purchased it for, anything along that sorts, or any other thing sports card related. And also subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Thank you very much. Right here we have the entirety of the lot. It is 15 cards in total, and there are bangers, as you can already see on top of this, so let's go through it. Starting off, the biggest card of the entire lot is definitely the Puka Nacua Downtown 2024 Donruss. There is a little bit of a difference, it looks like. Just look at that, that's gorgeous. Looks like it's got scratches, but that's just because of the mag case. These get scratched up very easily. Very clean condition. I think there's a little bit of a price difference when I look between the Donruss and the Optic Downtowns. It didn't seem like it was too big, but depending on what I get for this card is really going to determine how I do on the slot. I really like this approach because this gives me like some flexibility with the other stuff if I do really well on this card. I totaled up the comps of all 15 of these cards. It came out to I think $668. I paid $520. After 15% eBay fees, I'm going to net about 42 or 47. I don't know, somewhere in the 40s. Which, if you think about it, a lot of people try to aim for 10%, and 10% of 520 is $50. So I'm just a little bit under that. But I think I'm going to be a little firm on this one. It looks like it comps on average about 340. I'm going to try to maybe pull 360 for it if I can. Just because, people, it's a very liquid card. People are going to want it, so it's probably going to fly. Spectra, we have Jahmyr Gibbs. I believe this is a case hit. Is it Solar Eclipse? Yep, it says it right there. So this is out of 2024 Prism. Or, no, sorry, it just says Prism. That threw me off right there. 2024 Spectra. Very beautiful card. I love that. Look at that. Holy, yeah, that's gorgeous. And I think this one was the next biggest one. I think closer to right? Was it 140? I can't remember. I want to say this was the next biggest one. I could be mistaken though. Next up, we have a Sam Laporta out of 199, impeccable. Him in his Iowa uniform with an autograph. Very nice card. I think this one was about $30 something. This one was rough. I just really liked it. It's a 3-color patch. I'm sure there's someone out there that still likes Dylan Gabriel. However, it's not looking too good for him based on how he played last year. Shador kind of took over. And then it sounds like, from what I've seen so far, it looks like Deshaun Watson is expected to be the starter, which would probably put Dylan Gabriel as a third string. But it's really hard to say because I think there was a lot that changed, the percent, or there was really good odds that there was what was it? It was Shador Sanders to start one game in the season, and he was listed as the third or fourth string quarterback at the start of the season. I think, what was it? Joe Flacco was, I can't remember. Did he go to the Bengals? So he was originally on the Browns, or maybe vice versa. But yeah, Shador Sanders, no one thought he was going to play a game, and then he ended up actually starting a few games. So the Browns quarterback room is kind of a mess, and it looks like it's going to continue to be that way. So I don't think it's a bad purchase. For an RPA out of Phoenix, 3-color patch, I think it's still a good card, and it is also numbered out of 99. So there's definitely buyers for it. I think this is only a $30 card, so you know what? I'll take it. This is probably my favorite card other than the Downtown out of this. I just love it. Stars out of 2025 Optic Jackson Dart. I want to say, I can't remember because I've opened up some some 2023 stuff, and there was stars would be coming out of every single pack. I think it was Optic, right? Something like that. But I want to say these are short printed nowadays. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that one. About another $30 card, I want to say. How about this? A PSA slab. This is the only PSA slab I'll have now in my inventory. They seem to all sell off all my slabs pretty quickly. Sucks that this one's a PSA 8. I try to only shoot for 9s or 10s, but It is a rookie, Jaden Daniels. This is out of Absolute, and look at that, that's out of 150. So he's got a lot of hype coming back into the season after last year's injury. And what I really enjoyed about this is you'll kind of see it on this. Maybe it's not on really. Oh, there's a couple other ones, but the person I bought this from, he actually. Oh, it looks like this one's from the same one. These two, at least, these stickers. The person I bought it from does a lot of, I don't know, enters a lot of like breaks and different things on whatnot. And these are more, I'm guessing the breaks that he enters are probably more kind of like, instead of just opening, like breaking products, I think they're breaking like repacks is my guess. Just kind of based on what I see out of these cards. So that's where most of these are coming from. And he said most of them haven't even, or he said like all of them have not even left the mags. They all look like they're in really good condition. So I do enjoy that about this entire lot. And, you know, he's just trying to make his money back at the end of the day. Hopefully make a profit. This is really nice too. I love this. Donruss Threads out of 25. Sam Darnold just coming off of a Super Bowl win. I really like that card and where we're at with that. These two were some of our lower ones that I really only comped at like maybe $1 or $2. It looks like the Kenneth Walker Gold Press Proof. I mean, he just won the Super Bowl MVP, and he's also going to be on the Chiefs this upcoming season. That actually looks like a dimple up top. We can take this one out and see. Yeah, it does kind of appear like there's a little dimple on the card, and I'm not seeing that on the other side, so I think that's definitely an imperfection. But again, it doesn't really matter. It looks like it goes for about $5 typically, but I really comped it at like $1 or $2. This isn't going to make or break the lot. Same with this. Brian Thomas Jr. Pink, Premier, Prism, patch card, just real base. Nothing special about it. You'll probably see one of these if you open up like a blaster box of 2025 Prism. Then look at this. We got a case hit, Elijah Arroyo. So keeping it back to the Seahawks. I mean, we got Kenneth Walker, Elijah Arroyo, and then Sam Darnold all in this lot. And this is a case hit out of Mosaic, Genesis. I think about another $30 card, I want to say, is where this one was at. This one planned to be kind of, I think, kind of rough, because from my understanding, he just he like broke his probation, Rashee Rice, and now he's sentenced to serve like 30 days in jail. So I don't really know what his outlook is for the upcoming season. So we might see this fall in value, but the good thing is I don't think his discos were going for very much anyways, maybe like $15 to $20. And it's the Chiefs. People are always probably going to buy the Chiefs. He's still like, you know, he's going to play probably again at some point, hopefully. I really enjoyed this one. How about Illusions, Drake May, rookie. It wasn't numbered out on anything, but I haven't seen this orange pop out when I've opened retail, but I'm not seeing any numbers on it unless I'm missing it somewhere. But I can't remember what this one was going for. Maybe another like $10 to $20 card. And ideally, this is kind of the stuff that I'm aiming for. This one was, I think, the last of, or no, there's one more. So there's 3 cards left. I think these two were also, again, this is a Breece Hall in his college uniform. This is out of Contenders Optic. And then Dante Moore, rated prospect, Prism, what is it, draft picks. So I think, yeah, these ones, I think honestly I comped these two and the other two I showed you earlier, these 4 for maybe like $5 total. They all seem to go for maybe like $2 to $5, but yeah. This one is really cool as well. I love this. Really good contrast between the orange and the blue. This is, what is this? Gosh, I forget what this one's called. Not Disco. But look at that. That's awesome. Amon-Ra St. Brown out of Optic. What is this, 2024? This is out of 79. Yep, 2024. Little dirty. We might have to throw some new Mag cases in there to make it look all nice. I try to sell my stuff on eBay in like newer or my best condition of Mag cases if they are in a Mag. A lot of these are in Mags and I'm probably going to take them out. I think kind of what I've learned is like the rule of thumb is like $100 or over, then you'd want it. So like obviously the Puka Nakua we want in a Mag. but anything under that, I might, probably the solar eclipse, and then everything else I'm probably going to take out and move into top loaders. I'm probably going to have to figure out what I'm going to do with all these, because since I've been doing that, I've kind of came up with a good amount of mags, and I just don't really see the point in putting them on every single card. I don't know. I've heard some good and bad about it. Like, obviously, I think this looks nicer than being in a top-loaded card. It kind of says or puts the image out there that this is more of like a pristine card to be taken seriously, versus most cards are generally top-loaded anyways when you buy them, regardless of their value. But I don't really see the point, because also, if any of these cards, like let's say this one for example, something I've learned, like if this is going to go for, like, I already know this card is less than $20 with certainty, as well as this one. I think I'm going to have a hard time selling a mag in a eBay standard envelope. One of my basically just like a plain white envelope. I don't think the machines are going to like that. They have to go through machines, and they have to give a little more than a mag would. This is pretty firm, and that just doesn't really do me any good, because if I'm charging, I'd have to charge like $5 for shipping instead of $1, and it's going to hurt my profits, because no one's going to want to buy a $2 card with $5 of shipping. Like, I could probably put these at 99 cents and put $5 shipping on there, and if I'm making the buyer pay for it, good luck. That's probably never going to sell. But if I, sell this for like $2 or $3, put that up at auction or buy it now or whatever, and it sells for $2 or $3, and I throw shipping at $1, then I'm good. Something else you could do, but you're probably gonna take a loss on it, is I could, if I really wanted to keep these in there, for whatever reason, I could put the shipping on me, so I could say, free shipping. Then someone would buy it at $2 or $3 still, but then I'm paying I'm gonna basically go negative on, just shipping the card alone, paying for a label. So it doesn't really make any sense to have these type of cards in mags. It happens all the time. I'm okay with it, because the cards are really well protected. But a drawback of it is apparently the corners can kind of get beat up in these a little bit. I feel like the design with it, like, they're not intended to, but it sounds like they can. I don't know. I guess it's kind of like mixed opinions. Some people think they can hurt the card. Some people think that they're the best thing to have a card in. And then I also know, like, people do, there's also like, the mag protectors even. So I don't know if they necessarily go around these ones, but definitely around slabs. There's companies, I'd imagine they do for these as well, but there's companies that make these products that kind of add a extra layer of protection that make them look real nice, and they have all different colors, and it goes around the outside, and it just kind of like absorbs any sort of like anything being put on the card, because the cards do move around. I think that's the big drawback, is cards, they do wiggle. I don't know if you hear that. That might just be the top of it, but sometimes, like, cards don't, they have to make this space to put the card in bigger than the card being put in it, so that way it fits properly. So undeniably there is room within that for the card to move, and ideally you want to eliminate any room for a card to move in anything, to decrease the risk from it getting damaged. So that's the same way with when I'm putting these cards inside of team bags. Immediately when I'm putting them in, and I do got to get some to put slabs in, because right now I can't fold these all the way down. I just kind of leave them in with the adhesive on, just like this is what I would do if it was a slab. But these ones, obviously I'll rip this off, put this down, but I get it as tight as I can to reduce any sort of movement within the card. And then same thing once I get into the bubble mailers. I have a whole video on that, how to ship cards, and I'm sure there's a bunch more on eBay as well, or on YouTube as well. But yeah, just kind of going over some of the things that I've learned along the way on my journey, just over a year now. I just hit 1 year at the beginning of May, and things have been going pretty well, I'd say. So yeah, I just want to know kind of what you guys think of this. Wanted to share that with you. This is a pretty big purchase. $500 is still $500 at the end of the day, regardless. So let me know what you think of it. Would you have bought this for $520? Would you have bought it lower? Is there some cards you wouldn't have bought? Another reason that I buy some of these cards like these, I don't sell on Whatnot. These would be like probably really good Whatnot cards, I'd imagine. But additionally, when you add cards like this, what I've learned from deals is like the buyer is like way more willing to kind of give you a discount. So if you're paying, full price, you're going to get, sometimes if you get the right seller, as a buyer, you can, say like, okay, like this might be like a $30 card. Could we do 25 on this? And then you think about, 15 different cards, and it really makes a difference when you get to some of the bigger cards. Because instead of asking for like $5 off, now you're getting maybe like $20 or $30 off, and that's where you make your margins. It doesn't happen all the time. Ideally, people probably want to be, especially for something like this, a lot of people are going to want to be like just about at comps because that's what they're going for currently. There's a very strong market for them, so they know that if you don't offer them full retail value, like $340, whatever this is going for currently, they know they're going to get that elsewhere. And it's just kind of the market that we're in. So you have to find someone that's willing to basically sell them at a discount. The best way to do that is look for a problem that they have, right? So this person is buying stuff, entering repack breaks, whatever else on Whatnot, constantly spending money. And so now he's out money, but he's got a bunch of really nice cards that someone like me would love to pick up. And so if he say, I don't know, so I bought all this for $520. Let's say he spent like $400 to get all of these cards. Well, now he's able to get out of these, make $120. He's happy. And now they comp at like 600 and what did I say earlier? I think it was 668 was the number I came to. So like $670. So now I also have margin to make money. And, that's just kind of how it creates itself. Obviously, this is probably going to be a seller that I'm going to be in contact with, because if he's going to continue to, buy more on Whatnot and do this all over again, or if he's got more cards that are already on the way or whatever, I'm definitely going to be buying from him. If we can continue this cycle, you want to source inventory, try to find some ways to source your stuff. I think that's been the biggest challenge for me recently, is finding ways to source my inventory. Because currently they're just kind of like one-off deals. Like I bought the super big sports card lot off of the dad and son off of Facebook Marketplace, a lot of hockey cards, and I know almost nothing about hockey, but it was just too good to pass up at almost like 50% of what I totaled everything out for. So if you can find kind of like a reason someone's trying to get out, they were trying to get out of that collection, this guy's trying to get his money back for the money he spent on Whatnot and make a profit somehow. And very rarely does that ever happen, but I like to think it does. I like to think he did, at least. If not, he's at least getting a good chunk of money back for what he probably spent in total on landing all these cards. So I hope that kind of makes some sense. Try to look for ways that people want to get out of their collections and stuff like that. And once you find that, that can really be a driving factor to getting a deal done. Just different stuff, people wanting to move on, wanting to get some money back for their stuff. There's 100 different reasons that people are trying to move sports cards. But if you find someone that's truly, like the ones I've had the toughest time with are the ones that are trying just to say they like bought all these cards at a show and then they're trying to resell it to me and now I'm trying to resell it. My hardest thing is I already take 15% off of anything I buy, because that's about what eBay fees run. It's like 13%, but here and there, you got to factor in that some of these cards might be, hopefully not, but someone might ask for a refund or a partial refund. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect system. These are all going through the mail. There's going to be multiple people handling these cards in these packages once they're all shipped off. So there is always that likelihood that something could happen to these cards. Obviously, you try to reduce those risks as much as possible by the way you ship them. And yeah, it's just kind of a tough game, but if you can find some way to get a good deal on cards, take it. That's what I would say personally. That's just my opinion. But trying to buy from someone that's reselling and then selling it on eBay is really tough, and it's proved to be tough for me. But if I could sell all these for, the real way to go is to go resell these at shows or online on Facebook Marketplace or somewhere where I wouldn't have to pay a fee, maybe a Discord or something like that. I know they got Discord servers. Then I'm making a whole bunch of more money, ideally. Now, people are still going to want a discount when they're buying, I guess I would say like in person, even if it is online, because obviously their intent is probably to resell if you're selling to another card collector. So you kind of got to find ways to break the cycle. But if you find one or two people even, which it seems like I may have done, I've already bought from one guy twice, and then this person, if he has more cards in the future. It really started out as like I was gonna buy just a couple of cards, and then he kept getting more and more, and finally by the time we were able to meet up, like this piled up to be 15 cards, and we just kept adding to it. And he really appreciated that I was taking these off his hands and giving him money for the money that he spent on whatnot. So he was willing to, this worked out really well too, is as we progressively built it up to a bigger lot, he was willing to give me more of a discount because I was off hauling or offloading more for him. So it really is just a win-win in this scenario, and I think I'm going to do well on this, especially if I can do well on the Puka. I'm going to be probably, I said to try to be firm around 360 when this goes for 340, but I factored it as if I'm going to sell this for 340. So we'll see, but I'm very excited to have this lot and see what I can do with it. Thanks for watching. Peace out.